Hi, my name is Matthias Kammelmann. I am a professional musician and a music producer at Metrica Recording Studios in Ibiza. I also have a master in music therapy and one in music coaching. At the end of the video, I will explain how is it relevant to what we're going to talk today. Many of you sent us questions about 8D tracks, so we're putting up this video to explain what's behind it, the technology basically behind it. Let me just briefly explain you why us. Why do we explain it? Well, one of our main focuses at Metrica is that we are experts in immersive audio. We have a room with a 26.3 speakers installation where we can recreate any real environment or create a completely fantastic one. And we can translate that into binaural. And that's the key word, that's the word of the day, binaural. Talking about our expertise, we do not only create content for immersive audio in entertainment, we are pioneers along with our partners from Barcelona, Eurecat. They're the most important technological research center in Catalonia. And we have been researching on the influence of immersive audio in neuroscience, health, and quality of life. But we'll get to that later. This was just setting up a context. Of course, as you can see, I'm home, quarantined, but you can check Metrica on the web, www.metricasound.com. I'll try to include some of the links at the end of the video. I'm not expert in video making, but guess these days we're all learning new skills for survival. So, AD, what does it mean? The name? Literally nothing. It's just marketing. I will take a wild guess and say that the D stands for dimensions, and of course, 3 dimensions was not enough, so Y4, Y5, let's call it 8D. It gives you the sensation of a space being very big because it's a lot bigger than just 3 dimensions. Let's try to understand that the name is trying to communicate us that the kind of sound that you're hearing should give you the sensation of actually being a lot bigger than just stereo. And you know what? We agree, stereo is very, very small and narrow. That's why we're all for immersive audio. Many of you actually sent us press articles talking about it. Most of them poorly or directly wrong, because they fail to acknowledge the technology behind it. So if you don't know how the technology is, you're searching for things blindly. The technology is definitely not called 8D. The technology is called binaural. So if you're interested in it and you want to find out more about it, look for it for what it's called, binaural technology. Also on our website, you can find some information about it and some explanation. But the idea of putting up this video is to give a brief explanation of what does it mean. The name is problematic itself, since there are a number of things that actually stand for binaural. The idea of this video is clearing some doubts about it. Let's first understand the basics. Human hearing. I say hearing, not listening at this stage, because assuming you are not deaf, you can hear. Listening is a much more complex thing, but we'll get to that, don't worry. So, how do you think human hearing is defined? Take 1 second and think. If you're thinking stereo, you're wrong. Humans hear binaurally. Our ears are positioned to the sides of our head. They're opposite to one another. The brain, that you can imagine it as a super huge mega computer that has billions of data processing processes going at the same time. Amongst them, you can find binaural hearing, complementary to the rest of the hearing processes we are making. This one in particular allows us to distinguish the exact location of a sound source. Actually, let's try something. Please, if you're so kind, let me illustrate. We are going to wear headphones. Please. Hear this. And again. You hear that? Let's try something different. Let's pretend a bird has come into my room. I'm not very good at whistling. So, how did that happen? The binaural process in your brain is calculating the difference of arrival from the sound source to one ear and how long does it take to get to the other ear. We're talking about fractions of milliseconds here. Why? Evolution. Hearing seems to have been our primary alert system. Humans are poorly sighted in the dark, but we hear quite well. Not only that, our eyes, located to the front of our skull, give us a great field sight with incredible depth calculation capability. It seems nature was counting on us throwing stuff pretty far. Unfortunately, that leaves a very weak point to the far sides and back, and of course, up and down. That is evolutionary compensated by a panoptical hearing. You need to figure out that when we lived in the caverns, like hundreds of thousands of years ago, we barely counted on fire to light up our nights. So the dark was a really dangerous thing. Thankfully, we had our hearing to constantly keep us alert about everything that's happening. And in that case, you need to be very sure that it's extremely important to know where the danger is coming from, just so you don't run towards it and you can run away from it. Now that we cleared that out, according to Carlos Fregman, we live in a sonosphere, that is a world of sound, and we are much more exposed to sound actually than we really rationally acknowledge. Now that we know about a binaural hearing, let's move on to binaural audio. Binaural started being researched over 100 years ago. It went through major evolutions in research and technology all through those years, especially in the two world wars, and a number of other researches that were conducted through the years. Some press releases you've sent us attribute 8D to Zuccarelli, an Argentinian who developed another immersive technology that, to our knowledge, has little and nothing to do with binaural audio. His one is called holophony, and it's a completely different story and completely out of this video. Again, the press made a mistake, probably because they do not know what the name of the technology was. The 8D track you've been listening to, it's the oldest and simplest of binaural audio technology. It's actually called, within the technology, a first-order ambisonic. And no, it has nothing to do with Star Wars. A first-order ambisonic can have one or two sound sources the most, and it gives you a very limited movement possibility. There's no up and there's no down, and the front is almost inexistent. How does it work? Well, you need the headphones because you need to mimic reality to make sure the sound is coming in the way the brain would process it, not just frontally like you would have in stereo. And we use a series of filters and decoders to brain hack you. That means having your brain believing that there's actual space where there isn't. There are 1,000 plugins going around the internet that are capable of first-order ambisonics. What you're hearing in 8D, it's just that. People are putting a song into the plugin. That means the whole song is just one sound source, and they're moving the whole song as one source around you. Now, I don't mean to diminish 8D, but if you're flipping out with it, it's like you're telling us, wow, I just found out about the wheelbarrow. Look at that technology, man. And man, if you're flipping out with wheelbarrow, wait until you realize we're sending rockets into space. That's how far binaural audio technology is right now from what you're hearing in 8D. If this is so, you're probably wondering, why didn't it come across in the industry? I don't know. Nobody really knows. Interests, fears, you can choose. When stereo came to Mono's party, everyone said, that will never work. The world of immersive audio is huge. Actually, we have adopted Dolby Surround 5 and 7.1. Some countries actually use Atmos, which is an older version of the technology we use in their cinemas. But the truth is that even all of the doubts and reluctancy of the industry, the problem was that probably when the industry was presented to this kind of technology, the technology was really not quite there. But let us assure you, it is now. Actually, what we do in binaural is a fifth order ambisonic. To keep it simple, we can spatialize up to 64 independent sound sources, giving you a sensation of a complete space around you, and we can move independently those 64 sound sources. We're still missing a little bit of a maybe 4% towards the front low, but we're quite there. Can you imagine your favorite video games on that? We can. We do. Also, could you imagine it being real? On an installation like our 26.3, we can even host a holodeck, which means virtual reality and full immersion of real sound, meaning no brain hack. The sound is really coming from where you're perceiving it. The shape of the sphere we have on our room is complete. There are no holes in it. There's no other technology that can do that so far. Also, since we're a laboratory, we started along with Eureka researching 3 years ago on the implications of this technology into neuroscience, health, and quality of life. We are breaking ground on this, actually with amazing results. We have developed a method called conscious listening, and we're starting to work with the health industry on several levels. Our main focuses are sleep, relaxation, meditation, quality of life, and pain relief. The research we have been conducting includes interdisciplinary professionals from neuroscientists, acoustics physicists, musicians and producers, music therapists, medical doctors, and some major universities. But I will explain this on another video because we will need to get into another binaural world, which is the world of binaural waves, which only with our kind of technology we can include in the audio tracks. On that video, we will discuss other sources of binaural debate, such as binaural beats and other ways of trying to obtain this kind of low frequencies. Now, please visit our Facebook account. There you will find both binaural mixes of music you know and some of the music we do. It is also a good way of staying tuned because we keep growing and we keep researching, and we'll probably have a number of surprises along the way. Thanks for listening. Thanks for sharing. If you have any more inquiries or questions, you can write us down through Facebook or through our email. We're always open to clear doubts. Binaural world, immersive audio, that's our thing, and we're happy to bring some light into the houses with this. Thanks. Stay safe. I'll see you soon.